Purdue settlement talks, also Pakistan and India and Kashmir. And then we will also hear from this gentleman, Gary Mendel, lost his son Brian to addiction some years ago. And Mendel went on to start the nonprofit called Shatterproof to fight addiction. He was one of the people who testified in the Johnson & Johnson trial in Oklahoma. And coming up, he discusses the impact the trial could have on the opioid epidemic. That's ahead of 8:22.
And that's got younger families rethinking traditional housing.
I really think there's a shift happening.
Yeah.
Like, I love my parents to death, and they helped me so much, but I can't imagine having that big of a house in the suburbs.
We head across America to the Twin Cities, next time on 1A. This morning from 11 to noon on 90.9 WHYY.
Supporting WHYY Car Time, featuring certified used cars reconditioned like new with no dings, dents, or scratches that come with 6-month, 6,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranties and lifetime engine guarantees. CarSense.com. It's car sensational.
Good morning. Morning edition on WHYY. I'm Jennifer Lynn. And we hear from the head groundskeeper for Lincoln Financial Field. He explains what goes into getting the stadium ready for the Eagles. For this and more local stories, you can watch You Ought to Know tomorrow night at 7:30 on WHYY TV 12.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from Capital One, offering a variety of credit card options with features for a range of customers, from foodies to travelers. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Credit approval required. Capital One Bank, USA, NA. From Western Hotels and Resorts, offering a range of wellness options for guests, including their Eat Well menu, on-demand fitness gear lending program, and signature Heavenly Bed. Learn more at Weston.com, a member of Marriott Bonvoy. And from Progressive Insurance, offering a way to buy home insurance with their Home Quote Explorer tool. Custom quotes and rates are available online. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Now that's Progressive.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm David Green.
And I'm Rachel Martin. It was a landmark trial. Johnson & Johnson ordered to pay $572 million to the state of Oklahoma. On Monday, a judge ruled that the drug maker helped create the state's opioid epidemic by deceptively marketing painkillers. During the trial, families of those affected by the national crisis testified. Among them, Gary Mendel. He lost his son Brian to addiction and has since founded a nonprofit called Shatterproof to help families coping with drug abuse. Brian went through 8 treatment programs in 8 years, and he'd been clean for more than a year. But in 2011, at the age of 25, he took his own life. I talked with Gary about the impact this trial could have on the national opioid epidemic, but we started with the son. Can you tell me about Brian? Who was he as a kid?
He was every father's dream. I mean, smiling. I was that big smile at his, very curious, oogie-boogie as he grew up. Just everything a father could ask for. And he was just a fighter.
Can I ask how you first found out that he had developed this addiction to opioids?
Sure, it was in phases. The first real event that we started to realize there was a problem was his junior year in high school, where we got called to the principal's office and told that your son is much more than others. We have no problem here. We started at the pot, moved to Xanax, which moved to Vicodin, which moved to heroin. What's different about Brian's story is he didn't die of an overdose. He hadn't used a substance in 13 months, and he took his own life. And he wrote about, in a suicide note, the shame that goes along with someone addicted. The waking up every morning feeling like an outcast all day long. That's what he felt, and that's what everyone who's addicted feels. And because of that, it creates social isolation. So there's a large segment of the population who's addicted that does not go to treatment because of the shame and the stigma.
After Brian's death, did you look to place blame?
No. I was really more focused on what could be done to help others. I mean, I couldn't bring Brian back. And I knew Brian. I mean, I was told a story by his sober coach. But the last time he saw Brian when they had dinner, Brian walked out of the restaurant, and Brian had almost no money. He walked out of the restaurant with $5 bills and started handing it to the homeless. That's who Brian was. I knew he wouldn't want me to be thinking about working backwards about what caused this, more about what could we do to go forward to help others.
Nevertheless, even though we're focused on creating a national support mechanism for families and those who suffer from addiction, you testified at this trial. I'm going to play a clip. We had an attorney on for Johnson & Johnson who represented the company in this trial.
Sure.
Let's listen to what she had to say, and I'll ask you to respond.
Sure.
Look, this is a serious public health crisis, and it's something that needs to be addressed. But litigation is not the answer. We need public and private partnerships. We need collaboration. We need people to come together to address this serious public health crisis.
How do you respond to that?
I respond to that because of what was done by many categories of organizations. There are already somewhere between 3 and 6 million people in this world that's addicted to opioids. So of course we need private partnerships. But money to do that.
Money communication.
Money was voluntarily given, but if money is not voluntarily given, we need litigation to do so. And as a there's blind aspects of the healthcare. Sure. But until 2016, when the new CDC guideline came out on prescribing, doctors were only being taught that we're not treating pain enough, we need to prescribe more opioids. So we can look in many different places to blame, and I suspect there's blame in a lot of different places. And money's addicted.
Do you think this trial and the judgment against this particular company in Austin, so I think that's a precedent that will facilitate this kind of pain?
Yeah. Clearly, it creates a precedent that those who create a public nuisance, those who market inappropriately drugs without properly describing the risks along with the benefits will be held accountable.
It's there.
Sure. Thank you so much. What I focus on we played golf in the morning, had a great time. We had a family barbecue in the afternoon. And then at night, after everyone went home, it was just 2 of us. We were sitting in the back of church.
be near hurricane strength when it approaches Puerto Rico later today. Officials say they're concerned about likely flooding and power outages along with possible mudslides. NPR's Scott Newton says President Trump has declared a state of emergency in Puerto Rico.
The declaration authorizes FEMA to mobilize equipment and resources to prepare for the storm. Although Dorian is less powerful than Hurricane Maria 2 years ago, there are still people that haven't recovered from that disaster who are especially vulnerable.
The National Hurricane Center says Dorian could hit the east coast of Florida as a Category 2 hurricane late Sunday or early Monday. The leader of Britain's main opposition Labour Party says he's outraged by Prime Minister Boris Johnson's plan to suspend Parliament next month to push through Brexit without a deal. Johnson says he'll ask Queen Elizabeth to suspend Parliament ahead of the end of October Brexit deadline.
We're not going to wait until October the 31st or get with our plans to take this country forward.
Speaking earlier today, the UK to exit the European Union with an agreement that would need approval from the European Parliament. Wall Street futures are lower this morning. Dow futures are off 80 points. This is NPR News from Washington.
Good morning, it's 8:31. I'm Jennifer Lynn, WHYY News in Philadelphia. A large block-long mural has gone up in North Philadelphia advocating Philadelphia as a sanctuary city. WHYY's Peter Crimmins reports the image about immigrants crossing the southern border is all about the hair.
Most of this huge 3,000 square foot image is a young woman with a giant afro hairdo that's made up of intertwined symbols of Latino heritage, including Mexican Day of the Dead skeletons, the Aztec Quetzalcoatl feathered serpent, and a dancing devil in Bolivia.
It's world culture and identity, but it's also right here on this corner.
That is Ian Pierce, an artist from Chile who goes by the name Artist Ekeko. Philadelphia brought him here to 5th Street near Lehigh to make this work.